Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have roll call, please?
Supervisor McGlasser?
Here.
Councilwoman Campbell? Councilman Corey?
Here.
Councilman Ruthven?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I invite our Director of Finance, Yulia Kelly, to do our preliminary budget presentation.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm here to talk about our 2023 preliminary budget. I always like to start off by comparing, I don't know, can everybody see? I always like to start off by kind of giving you a pie chart and comparing what our percentage of the tax levy is compared to the overall taxes that the residents pay. So as you can see, the school district takes the biggest chunk of the levy at 72.5%. The county's 8.5%, and the town of Kent is 19% of the total taxes. That's just again, another way of showing, of comparing the three levies. The tallest being the school, and the red is the town of Kent, and the green is the county, and it's changed over the last 8 years. Just as a point of reference, the school levy has gone up in about five years by about $10 million, which is almost 10%. I looked at an average tax bill, an average with a home assessed at about $350,000. Residents had to pay about $1,000 more over the last five or so years. These are just some nearby towns. There's 3 towns that I kind of took as a point of reference.
No, I can't see them.
Yeah, it was in the handout as well. As you can see, they were steady increases in levies over the last 7 or 8 years. For example, the town number 1, their levy went up about 14% over the last 7 years. Town number 2, their levy went about 12%, and town number 3, their levy went up about 18% over the last 7 years. So this is a quick summary of what's in the 2023 preliminary budget. We are proposing a modest 2.5% tax increase in our townwide general fund and highway fund. The Lake Carmel Sanitation District, 2.5%. Lake Carmel Fire District, a very modest 0.25%. Kent Fire District actually requested a levy which was a decrease. Lake Tibet Park District was 11%, but that's basically their own advisory board determines that. Lake Carmel Park District, 2.5%, and the 2 Water District are at 4%. We are using about $318,000 of our fund balance, mostly for debt service. Retirement contributions have been all over the place. They decreased last year, but are going back up in the coming year. We are estimating a 3% increase for health insurance. We don't have the rates. We expect them to maybe be out by the time the budget is adopted, but we don't know. Sometimes they don't come out until the end of November. So it might be higher, it might be lower. The 3% is an average over the last 10 years per year if you average it out. And then our electrical and our fuel costs are projected to increase because they have increased significantly, especially over the last 2 years. It's just a chart showing the history of retirement contributions that the town contributes on behalf of our employees. The health insurance has gone up about 600,000 in the last 7 years, which is about 26%. Utility costs are kind of a crazy chart because it did jump up the last 2 years and is expected to continue to grow. That's a summary of the preliminary budget. It's also on the website and on the handouts, just summarizing the townwide funds and the districts, the total appropriations, total fund balance, the increase in levy from this year to the proposed budget. This kind of shows a breakdown of where the money is going. So as you can see, there's the general fund, the police, highway, sanitation, and then some of the smaller amounts. Again, this is a summary of the general fund. We are, as I said before, we are proposing to use some of our fund balance to balance the budget and to keep our tax levy increase under the tax cap. That's a summary of the highway fund. And we do have some money budgeted for police vehicles. We've bonded some of the major equipment purchases and some of the paving projects, and as well as the highway garage reconstruction with bonding over the last couple of years. And that's it for me, so if anybody has any questions.
You're saying that this was already been bonded under the
Yeah, this is
$8
the
million,
past.
right?
That's the past, yes.
That's the past.
Yes.
And what does that cost us every year for that bond?
It's between interest and principal, it's about 600,000.
Okay, can you hear
Oh,
me?
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
You can hear me, you can't hear. Okay, the general fund here, where you had $200,000 in 2022 and you're going to 700 to bring down the deficit, is that what you're telling me here?
No, the 700,000 is the debt, is part of that is the debt service.
Is
Yes,
that,
yeah.
so we were doing 200,000 a year, now we're doing $700,000 a year?
I mean, it's not just that service, it's really to fund some of the highway, because highway is a townwide fund, so general
Right.
fund and highway are one, because it is, it is the total town tax base. So part of the 700,000 is to fund the debt service.
Which is like 600,000, you
Right,
just said.
yes.
Okay, but still, why did we go from 200 to 700? I mean, I thought last year when I asked the former supervisor, Maureen Fleming, if this was gonna raise our taxes, she told me no. So now I'm looking at the 200 to 700, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
200 was what we needed to balance the highway fund's budget last year.
Okay, and then I saw something with Lake Carmel, you had Lake Carmel Dam, and you had the engineers, and I think it said 84,000, it was hard to read on the phone because it kept turning all different ways. So am I correct? And that would be offset with $100,000 from the grant?
I mean, that's not something but there's nothing in the appropriations for Lake Carmel for that. So whatever they're spending is going to be offset by this. So it's not an.
Okay, it was on the Lake Carmel Park District line, and it should be in a regular line, because it's
No.
owned by the town.
We've spent that in 2022.
Right,
But
okay.
it's not a cost we're budgeting in the budget.
Right.
For 23.
But, okay, how was it paid for?
It will be paid for, we're getting reimbursed for that.
For the grant,
Yes.
through the grant?
Yeah.
Okay, but the dam stuff should have its own line in the general fund, because it's owned by the town, just saying.
Just to answer that question quick, there's nothing in this budget for the dam.
Right, that's what she's saying, but I'm saying that it's under the Lake Carmel line, so you should probably have a separate line, even though it's being offset by the grant. I'm just saying to clear it up that it wasn't out from Lake Carmel. Let's say it went over the 100,000, I'm just saying. So is that, I'll think of a question in a second.
Do we have any other? Someone have a comment on the phone?
No, I turned it off.
Okay.
I guess not.
In the line, it has lake consultant. Is that Lake Carmel's lake consultant or?
No. In the general fund? No, it's townwide, like consultant, not just.
For the Lakes Committee?
They have their own consultant?
They have since I've been on the board.
It was always just a group, because Lake Carmel already pays for a lake consultant, so we're paying twice.
We pay for a lake scientist.
Right, but it's kind of the same.
What's a townwide? It's a kind of an organization for, for kind of all lakes of the town.
Right, I was there when we did it, we never had a lake consultant to it. It was just that they shared knowledge amongst the lakes with each other. They never had a lake consultant. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions or comments? I know the seniors are here. Do we have any, did I answer your questions in the emails? Do you have any?
I'm sorry, I'm being real, and basically the seniors
Okay, come on.
Oh, I'm here.
I think Billy Eustace had sent a letter, and he was saying that he wanted to know if we can get an increase in the budget because we haven't used it in the past 3 years, and because everything else is going up, if we could possibly get an increase. I know there are other alternatives, methods to get money for next year's budget, so that's what, we
I
had.
did email back. I don't know if you
Oh,
saw
good.
my
No,
email.
I didn't see it.
So what we can do is, I know you haven't spent the money because of COVID, so there was nothing,
Exactly.
there was nothing to do. So we can allocate funds after I know what we've spent this year towards next year. Yulia and I can look at those numbers and we can figure it out. We won't know though until probably January, I would say. Once all the,
That's okay. Well, the vouchers are filled in, that's great.
yes.
And the other thing, which is probably, I don't know if even this type of discussion is warranted here, but we are the only place that doesn't have a Kent Center. We did, it was destroyed. I don't know where the insurance money went for that building, but we'd like to know if we can get some modulars put up in that area so we can get a home. Because right now we're renting St. James, or we're renting to the senior center, or whatever, we're all over
You
the
left
place.
me here. I liked having you guys here on the Thursdays. You left me.
I know, I think they want something that's theirs.
No,
not
I
just a
know.
building. And I know we don't provide a lot of the things that some of the other towns do as far as the Meals on Wheels and the activities for seniors. We are basically a social club. And I know that sometimes is not high on the priority of, but if we could get anything built for that thing that was destroyed, that would be great. Because we're losing seniors and we have a big population of seniors. So,
All right, a couple comments on that. Absolutely, we want to find a home for you guys.
thank you.
But the building you're referring to is actually the Lake Carmel Community Center, not the Town of Kent Community Center.
okay,
So that
okay.
belongs to the Lake Carmel Park District. And we are trying to move that forward. But we also have allocated a very large sum of money toward a building that we currently own for all Kent residents. And we're using the, call it the COVID money or the ARPA money that we received from the federal government and from the county. A good portion of that is going to be going to making that building into hopefully a very nice community center that the seniors can use and that we could use for food
Wonderful.
distribution.
And
We
where would
have quite a
this
lot
be?
of plans for it, actually, just to have it as a community center for us.
The old town hall, the old police department, right down the road.
The old town, oh yeah, okay, right next to my house, walking distance. Okay, thank you for your time, thank you.
And I did email back, so you should see the email that I
Yes,
sent,
and I was
so.
talking to the ladies about the vouchers, and I think I have that under control, so we'll get those to you as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, I'm one of the seniors. My name is Terrence Gallagher, Terry Gallagher. I think we had some good communication today. The difficulty we're facing, and I know that January is your date thereabouts, to give us a yes or no on an amount of money not to exceed. It's very difficult for us right now to do any kind of planning. The budget that I'm looking at, it speaks for itself. The economy is through the roof. And we are facing exactly the same problems. We're trying to reestablish. We're putting an awful lot of our own effort into this. We have new blood and new people wanting to help. But what we're faced with is just taking one step forward. We need some funds, some additional funds. I think we've already looked at the fact that the seniors have not had any real increase in many years. That is to their own. They worked hard in making sure they stayed within budget. We're looking at a fact of cutting any kind of activities by nearly 50% because of the costs of oil, bus, driver, venue, and it's very hard to look at that. So even if we had some kind of commitment tonight where we were looking at a dollar amount that we could project, it would be very helpful.
So January, I'm just saying, but if you get all of the outstanding invoices to our office, to Yulia or myself, we can then give you a number before January. We can't say it until we know what you've spent this year.
Okay. We can
So
do
as
that.
soon as you get all those to me and you say this is everything, there's nothing else, then, we could do it before January, so.
Yeah, no, I'm just niggling a little bit here, Just the wife niggled me on the way out the door, so. If we are able to show that we spent 50% of last year's budget, and that would leave an estimated 12,000 on the table. We have a not to exceed then, we're asking, we don't want the 12, we know that's with what you're presenting, it's unreal. But if we had a not to exceed 6 or 8, we would feel really good. Then we would feel we could move forward, and that would give us some will to. And it would
I think
also
that's
help.
fair. I do think
I think
that's
it's
fair.
very fair.
And I think then we can use 2023 to gauge
As our
what you
base.
spend, and then we can make a more, a better budget for you guys for 2024.
Okay.
It's just hard because the past 3 years, there hasn't been anywhere to go, so.
That is nowhere. I think that's, if we really work hard to get the budget for the end of 2022 where we want it to be, knowing that we're really cutting back and we're holding that money for the 2023 budget, we'd feel really good about it. So if we know that we've saved or cut 12,000, can we then say 6 or 8 is a not to exceed, and we're good with that and we can roll with it?
Well, it's my understanding that whatever the leftover balance is all going to be rolled over, no?
You
No.
can't roll it over. It's-
Can't
we
roll it
can
over.
allocate it.
We can allocate it.
But we can't
Yeah,
roll
you
it
can
over.
allocate.
We can allocate it.
You can
So,
allocate.
but just same concept. Whatever the balance is, 24,000 is your budget this year, and I'm guessing, this is off the top of my head, like 2014, it used to be 28. Is that correct? So we already know that it's went down, but because of COVID, you really weren't using it anyway.
And we understand that.
And we understand that when we get into a real full year of seniors going on their trips and stuff, it may be a little bit over 28, but we don't know what that amount is yet. So whatever the balance is, we can allocate, right? And then
That's all
we'll
we're
have that budget
Well,
set.
and if we could leave tonight
So
knowing.
you could
that
plan
we-
your
we
events
can
for
do that.
next year.
Yeah. Yes, we
Absolutely.
Yes, we can. If you
Yes.
can allocate, then we'll say, it's up to us. The onus is on us now,
Yes,
and we would be happy with that.
yes.
So that's fine?
That's
And
what
we
we're
can
planning
leave
on
with
doing,
that?
yes.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Yes.
The reason that we didn't spend our budget, the reason that we didn't spend our budget this year or last year or any year in full is because we were under the misconception that the money could only be used for buses. This is what we were told from the old regime. The money could only be used for buses. Now, the buses are expensive. I think they run about $1,300 for each trip if it's a one-day trip. But we could do 10 trips for $13,000 and then have the rest left over for functions that we could use during the year. You can give breaks to seniors on whatever they charge. Sometimes they'll charge $75 for a venue, and we can give it to them for $50. Just use that money. That's okay, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. This is wonderful. Such good news. Thank
We
you.
spoke, didn't we, about all this, and
Yeah, when I heard this thing, but there's someone who's been spouting that, oh, you cannot touch that money, it's only for buses.
no, you can use
And-
it for
and all-
events.
And all 190 of us said, okay.
I told you, just no alcohol. No alcohol.
alcohol.
That's it.
Look at the disappointment.
I'm sorry. Any other comments or questions from anyone else for Yulia or the board? No? Okay.
So we can keep the public hearing open as long as we close it by the 15th.
That's after our next meeting, correct?
No,
It'll
no,
be on-
When's the next?
we have to do it before the next meeting.
This
Well,
this is the
that's the
public
last
hearing.
date to start the
Yes.
public hearing, and we
So
have to,
we
we
can
can keep it
adopt,
open, as long as we're done by we have to close it by the
It says it in the
15th.
newspaper, it's the public hearing.
Yes, so
This is the public hearing.
we can adopt the budget tonight.
Tonight?
You can if you want to. But we don't have, so we have to do it though by next week, by next Thursday, correct?
You have to adopt it by the 20th
Oh, yeah,
of
you have to adopt it
November.
by the 20th. You can,
So I have these.
no, that's for the presentation. The public hearing, we did it earlier. So the public hearings to open the public hearing would have been Thursday after Election Day, so we did it before that. But we can keep the public hearing open until November 15th, so we could do,
Okay, so we're good then until
Yeah.
November 15th.
So when is their next meeting, 2 weeks, or?
It's November 15th is our next meeting.
I don't have my calendar. Hold on a second. This is the first year that we have had the preliminary budget hearing before the day after election, so.
I think it went a little more
That's
smoothly
nice.
this year because the whole board was in it from the beginning. Instead of it being a supervisor's budget, it was the town board budget from day one. So the whole town board proposed everything in here, not just single member.
So yes, the next town board meeting is November 15th.
Yep. Okay. So then.
Okay, so we can close the public hearing then.
You can still keep it open for comments
Okay.
or
Yeah.
questions.
Yep.
We don't need to read any resolution.
So we don't have to do anything, we're good. Okay. Do any members of the board have anything to say? Anything?
I'd like to make one comment to the town board on the budget. As the board already knows, Supervisor McGlasson has cut out the recreation director and taken on that role, saving the town, God knows how much, $100,000 a year. And is now taken no raise in this budget at all for taking on a whole department head's role. I really don't think it's fair. I think it's a lot to take on for no compensation for it. I know she's argued with me over and over again about it, but I would like to let the rest of the board, see what they have to say about that also.
Chris, I'm in agreement with you. I think it's just, as you just said, fair is fair, and you're taking on basically two hats to do one job, or one job doing two jobs. So I agree with you, Chris, 100%.
Listen, I have 3 kids, I can do it all. Trust me.
Chris, do you have a specific proposal in mind?
I don't, but I think that now that the budget is staying open, that as a board, we should discuss it. It's a lot. It truly is.
I'm fortunate
to
that I
take
have a
on.
very good staff in the recreation department.
And I can appreciate that, but, it's a lot. Taking on 2 full-time jobs, basically. That's all I have to say about it.
Okay. All right.
So I just have a question as a technical error. Jamie, we did not open up the public hearing. Can we
Oh.
do it now and keep it open? Because they forgot to make a resolution to open it.
Sure, just make a motion.
I make
to
a motion to
Okay.
open the public hearing for the budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A little out of place. It was advertised.
Sorry, Lana.
It's okay.
All right. If there's no other comments or anything, then you're up.
So
I'm
now
up
you're
for-
gonna
I'm-
make a motion to
Oh.
adjourn, you know.
I make a motion to
Keep
adjourn,
it open until the 15th of November.
the hearing until November 15th, when the budget can be
Chris,
adopted.
second?
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye. I ask the board to approve the following vouchers for November 1st, 2022 that are over the threshold. Brewster Glass Shop, $2,277 for baseball field window. City Carding, $8,538.96 for Lake Carmel garbage. GEI Consultants, Inc., $2,360.85 for Lake Tibet lake management. Global Montello Group for $4,966.65 for gas, $6,568.47 for diesel. Metal Building Restoration, $271,000 for requisition number 8 of Highway Garage. NYSEG, $2,786.19 for electric for Ryan's Field Lights. Peckham Industries, $11,096.33 for blacktop, and $44,624.06 for blacktop. Princeton Hydro, $2,100 for Lake Carmel program. Purchase Power, $3,000 for postage. Recor Recognition Systems Incorporated, $16,656 for Recor Scout maintenance for the police. State Comptroller, $36,293 for Justice Court fines and fees. I ask the board to approve these vouchers.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. On to announcements, I have a few. The first one is last Saturday, we had a Rebels in Redcoat in Putnam County event up here in which we did a reenactment. They allowed me to be Sybil Luddington for the day. So I just want to thank Keith Riley. He's a teacher at George Fisher Middle School, and Rob Ucheri, from a teacher at Carmel High School, as well as Jackie Strickland for putting on, and the Historical Society for putting on such a great event. I think we had a good amount of people up here. It was a fun day. They let me shoot the musket and everything, so, and we shot the cannon. I know. We're gonna try for the horse next time, Kathy. Don't you worry. I was afraid I might get hurt.
Did everybody see her little bonnet in the newspaper?
He called me Little Miss Muffet. Okay. On Friday, November 18th at 6:30, Kent Rec is going to have bingo night up here in the courtroom. We'll have prizes, games, and fun, so you can book your spot online on our website, or you can call 845-531-2100. And then on Sunday, November 20th, highlights of early baseball in Putnam County will take place here at Kent Town Hall. The Kent Historical Society will host highlights of early baseball in Putnam County with Bob Mayer, starting with how he got into baseball research, then present an overview of some early baseball activity in Cold Spring, Phillipstown, starting in 1865. It sounds like a fun event. My 11-year-old actually said, "Can we go to that?" He saw the flyer, so that is all I have for right now.
You have I don't have it with me. The last rabies clinic for the Putnam County Health Department is this Saturday at Putnam County Veterans Memorial Park. I do not have the flyer with me, so go on the Putnam County website and find out what it is. I'm not sure if you have to pre-register or not, but it's their last one of the year. They always do one in November at the end of the year for dogs, cats, and ferrets.
Early voting has started. It started last Saturday. They actually, today, there was an announcement. They have it at two places now. It's at the county building and at the Board of Elections on Old Route 6 by the Putnam Plaza. And election day is Tuesday, the 8th, so get out and vote, please.
I have a couple from Kent Public Library. Tomorrow night and also on November 2nd at 4:30 and Saturday, November 12th at 11 a.m., 1-hour workshop on Microsoft Office for students and their parents. And also this Friday at Arts on the Lake, 7:30 p.m., Arts on the Lake, we have Pay Dirt. This is a reading directed by Alice Jankel. 3 voices unearth a story of power and land in the Hudson Valley. One of those voices is Daniel Nimmo, and there are a number of us that are working together to raise funds to bring the Daniel Nimmo statue to Kent, the one that Michael Karopian has done. And this play makes some definite references to Nimmo and even to the statue itself, the one that's over in Fishkill. So I hope a lot of us will be able to attend. Thank you. Now, it's also going to be featured at the Phillipstown Depot Theater on the 5th at 7:30 and at Tompkins Corners Cultural Center on the 6th at 2 p.m. But right here in Kent at Arts on the Lake this Friday, 7:30 p.m.
Great. Any public comment?
Good evening. Just a short little notice. On Sunday, October 16th, I had an unexpected mishap and injured my foot. The injury prevented me from wearing normal footwear, so not only did I need to wear slipper-type footwear, but also the use of crutches. I was finally able to get to Town Hall on Tuesday to deliver the money from the Kent Recycling Center to the Finance Department. While doing some hopping and some use of the crutches, I got to the front doors of Town Hall. Well, what a challenge. Not only is there one set of heavy glass and metal doors, but a second set, but I managed without hurting myself further. I thought this is not good for a town hall in this day and age to be so antiquated. I also wondered what one would do if they were in a wheelchair. I don't think they would be able to gain access unless someone came along to assist. The Kent Library has a handicap door opening device that was installed, let's say, 10 years ago. It is an installation that was done on the exterior of the door frame. It is on both the outside door and the inside door, making it very accessible for the handicapped person or parents with baby strollers. I thank you for your time and consideration in this important matter. If you should need any help with researching different types of devices, I would be willing to help. Oh, and locating a close parking spot was not easy. If I could have parked near the employee entrance, I would have been 25 crutch steps closer and nearer to the handicapped sidewalk instead of getting up on the high curb. Just a couple of items to be aware of as we are all getting older. Thank you.
Just comment on that, Sue. I think that's a great suggestion on the door opener for the front door.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right now they call my office and we have to go out and open.
No, I think that's a fantastic idea. Thanks for pointing that out to us.
Good evening. I have just a couple of questions. In reference to, since Bobby's not here, I might as well ask about the community centre and also the bridge as well. And also, I think the bids were supposed to go back out for the sidewalks again.
Correct.
I just want to know.
All right, so the bids, we haven't got to the deadline yet for the sidewalk and for Ryan's Park entrance reconfiguration. We gave that a little bit longer time frame than we had the last time to try to get more bids to come in. The bridge, the Lake Carmel Bridge down Veterans Memorial Park, we are expecting. That's one of the FEMA projects that we're working with FEMA. Heidi was emailing with them all week this week. But the engineer that we hired to do the preliminary reports, we gave him a deadline of November, sometime mid-November. He actually responded and said he thought he'd have everything to us by today. I did not see it come in. When those preliminary reports come in, that'll be one of the ones that we turn right around and put out to an engineering bid for actual construction of the abutments. And as you know, we've already purchased the bridge.
Yes.
It's sitting here. We have to have the abutments engineered and get the permitting in place to put them in. At which time we have the option of either contracting it out or going in-house, depending on what the engineer designs for us. I think, and the reason I say that is I think if we can get prefabricated abutments, I think we can do them in-house, where we just set them, level them, and set the bridge on it. If they have to be poured in place, we'll probably have to contract it out.
Okay.
And then the next question was on the community center.
Community center.
The community center, we are still trying to set up a meeting with the board. We haven't gotten anything set in stone with them yet. We have options that we want to present to that. It's the board of directors is what they're called there.
Right.
And they want to meet with us. They've been to a few of the Lake Carmel meetings. It's just a matter of their schedule and our schedule coming to a point where we can have that discussion and talk about the different options for those buildings. We do have the insurance money that was referenced. We know what that dollar amount is, and we have money set aside for that building in the Lake Carmel budget that's earmarked specifically, prior to us being on the board, we found out through the budget process that there's money earmarked specifically for that building that can help us in the next planning stages and where we move forward with it.
Because that, you know as well as me, is that building every day it sits idle, it gets worse and worse, so.
There's a lot of, I've said this over and over again, there's some historical value to it, but there's a lot of environmental concerns in that building.
I understand that.
And that's where our decision-making has to, you know, the residents of Lake Carmel are gonna have to say, we want this or we want that, but the environmental concerns,
And do
the
we have any
remediation of those environmental concerns is not gonna be a small dollar amount.
Yeah, it's a lot of asbestos.
Yeah.
But do you have any time frame when you're gonna meet up with the,
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't you have it at the Lake Carmel Park District meeting?
They can't make it on, some of them can't make it on Monday nights.
because it,
And three, the one that I've talked to, a number of them, you know, Pat and Janice and even Bob Schwartz, and they're all for taking it down. So you have one person that doesn't want to. One person's not gonna make up my mind for 6,000.
So that discussion, what you're saying that you're having with them is a discussion that we need to have with them.
Okay, but there are three people.
I know.
You don't even have a
But we've had a very, very, a very, very good preliminary meeting with them already. I think it was in August, correct? Or just the beginning of August or something like, maybe July. It's just a matter of, and then we had an issue where we had one scheduled and somebody got sick. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of pushback on it, but we wanna make sure that we involve them directly. They were the board of
so what
directors.
I think what we're trying to get at is the time frame for meeting up with them, because it just seems like it's been pushed and pushed and pushed. And I understand everybody has to try and get together, and I understand they have their schedule, you have your schedule, but, you know, we really try and.
So
get
we
this
left it
together.
in their boat at the last, one of them was at the last Lake Carmel Park Advisory Board meeting, and we said, go back to your people and see what your schedule is. We haven't heard back from them.
No, what I'm saying, I'm not saying to leave them out, I'm saying invite them so that you and Jamie are usually there at the Park District meetings, so bring up the conversation to at least the people that are there.
Right,
Well,
but
that's
some of the
fair.
members can't come on Monday.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. They're not available Monday nights.
That's easier than you trying to get a separate meeting during the day or whatever, have it that evening.
They can only meet in the evening, and there's certain evenings that they can't meet. They can't meet Mondays.
Again, you don't even have a board. They're not even a voting board at this point. Bob's in a nursing
I know.
home, so you have three people, that's it. So my feeling is,
We
they
don't,
tell one of them to be their representative. They can have a meeting on the phone, have one come as a representative and bring it to the rest of us.
We could do that, because Janice is always, she can pretty much make a meeting anytime. It's not,
I don't have a problem with it, but I want to go reach out to them first. You know, I want to say, this is what we're going to do. You know, they deserve that respect. They were there running events, 100%, 100%. But they were the active committee on that board for a long time.
I was there when it started, so I know.
Did I answer all your questions, Simon? I'm sorry. Okay.
Going back to the bridge,
Yes,
the bridge was free, wasn't it?
it was, other than the shipping.
The bridge was free.
yeah.
Yeah,
You said you paid for the bridge.
we paid for the shipping of
We had
it.
paid, which was not cheap.
There's underlying costs that went with the bridge that we paid for. But we got a great deal, trust me.
Yes.
It is some bridge. And it won't be a bridge to nowhere, because it will go somewhere.
Any other comments? I make a motion that we adjourn to executive session to discuss litigation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.